Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. I'm Robbie.
I'm Jason.
And welcome to the table. So excited to have you guys here. Episode 40.
Episode 40. This is 40. This is 40. This is welcome to the
Here
Big 4-0. So
I almost went full like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but that's 42, right?
I think it's 40. I never read the book and I saw the movie and it wasn't that great to me. So, but I know in the geek lore, it's massively popular and I think it's 42.
Yeah, the answer, because they ask like, what's the answer to the like meaning of life? What is the meaning of life? That's what it is, and they're like 42. So looking forward to that. Y'all, comments, you gotta let us know, so that way we can lean in and try to do something special for episode 42 if it is. If not, if it is 40, this is even better. Guys, very very excited. I'm a routines guy. I don't know about you, Jason. I love my routines. I love sticking to it. I think I enjoy traveling. I realized this about myself being at MCO a couple weeks ago.
Right.
I enjoy traveling because I get to meet people along the way. But at the same time, like, I just love my routines at home.
Yep.
And I love all of that. So I like that as a podcast, we have developed routines of a guest on the 5s, lists on the 10s. Like, it makes it really fresh and fun. And do we have a great list for you guys today? But before we dive in, Jason, man, how you doing?
I'm doing.
How are things going?
I'm doing well. All is going well. I haven't played a ton of games lately, but that's okay. It's good to get a break. I'll go and play a lot, and we'll take none and play a lot. All is going well. The weather's been great here lately. I've started running because Xander's joining the Air Force. So I think I told you that. He's already done. He's already sworn in. He should find out in the next few weeks when he'll head off to basic. So he's been He's young. He's in decent shape. He's never been a runner. So I've picked up running again because everybody at Foundation is running anyway. Trevor's running. Hunter's running. Connor's running. Mikey from Overthrow is running. Like, they're all running. I'm like, okay, I will never run as fast as them, but they pulled me back into the running game. So I'm back into running, which is a good thing. It's a painful, miserable thing, but I love it. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. I will admit, I did not know about Xander. This is a podcast exclusive right here. Yeah, that's awesome.
He's
proud
already
father in this.
Say again.
Proud father in this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we talked about it in the fall and he's trying to figure out life, and because he just graduated, but he doesn't really know. It is what it is. That's a lot of reason. Many people join the military for that very thing. Hey, I just need some structure. I need some guidance. Need some direction. Don't really know what to do. When we started talking about in the fall, the light bulb went off with him. And he got more and more serious about it. And it's called delayed enlistment. So he's already going through all the medical process. He's already been approved. He's already sworn in. So technically he has actually taken the oath of enlistment into the Air Force a few weeks ago. And now he's just waiting for his basic training dates. So
that's awesome.
He told them because of the way his lease ends, he won't go between middle of June is the earliest he would go. So anytime after, like, we will find out any day. We're literally waiting just for them to call and say, hey, here's your basic, because he puts in for like the jobs he'd like, and it's all backward math based on the tech school that happens at the end of basic training. So if he wants to go be an aircraft mechanic on a C-130, that tech school starts in August, so they got to back up. Okay, basic training is 7 weeks, so whatever, right? So yeah, he is definitely joining the Air Force. He's very excited about it.
That's so cool, dude.
And so we've been running lately, so which is good.
I love it. I love it. Hey, we're doing great over here. I've got my mom is in town. And my grandmother actually came on this trip as well. So she's hanging out as well. And she hadn't seen little man since January. So, like, I mean, you got 3 kids. For those of you who have kids at home, they grow fast in 3 months, especially those first 4 months. So it's been so fun. He is it is like he's laughing and it's so good. So it's really fun. It's just been a lot of running around. Played some disc golf today. Been playing a lot of disc golf, trying to prep for a super cool opportunity we got coming up in June on the disc golf side of things. So, but I did actually get to play a game lately, and I'm very excited about it. So, Jason, in a twist of events, I'm going to go first on games we've been playing lately. I had the opportunity. So we were together at Music City Open. It feels like last week, but it was 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weekends ago, week and a half. And so we played a game called Veiled Fate, and I got to play it again this past weekend. Awesome. Had people over to play it, and we played with 5 people. So Veiled Fate is hidden role in the hidden role world, but I would very much not consider it anywhere near like a traditional hidden role. Because I think a lot of times you think of hidden role, you're thinking of like Secret Hitler and Werewolf and Mafia and things like that. This one has such a unique mechanic in that there are 9 like characters that exist on the board, and you secretly want one of them to win. But what's cool is everybody can control all 10. So what's super fascinating about the game to me is that people like I realize it takes a lot of pressure off the game for me, because the more you lean into the hidden role type aspect, the harder it is to win, because there's just a world that people are like accidentally sacking your character for no reason. So like in the game we played, we had 5 of us playing. So there's 9 demigods that you're moving. So 4 of them just straight up didn't matter. And we had a demigod who was crushing during the game.
Yeah.
And everyone in the end of the third, like the middle of the third age, thought it was me. They were like, Robbie's green. Like he has to be green.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I was not green. And I made what I thought was this super obvious play and almost like flipped the script of revealing who I was, and moved. I was this pink character, and I moved the pink, tried to like heavily influence this quest to get major points. And I was like, oh, I did it. Like I locked it up. And then I like quest came around and I was like, oh, bang. And I asked someone else who I thought I had them in an advantageous position. They came in, flipped the quest, and instead of gaining 2 and going to the front of the pack, not even like front of all the players and even this green one that didn't matter, I lose 1 and then I lose another one like pretty soon after that, and I'm just out of it. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh, bummer. Because we had at the end of the second age, Jason, you'll appreciate this. We had a quest hit that, or like the final round vote was basically like everyone in this section loses 2. Everyone in this section gains 2.
Yep.
And there were only 3 characters not in that zone, and all of them lost 2.
Oh no.
So like 3 of us were just chilling at 3 points, and everyone else dropped a 1 and 0. And it was like, I've done it. I'm actually going to win a game. And then boom, script flips. And we get to the end and they're like, oh, green won. Okay. Bummer. And then it was like, well, green doesn't matter. Ryan, who are you? He was red, and red was next up. So it did make me excited for the expansions. We finally looked at the expansions, and I think one of the expansions is going to be really cool. I'll say it real fast and then I'll jump off. It's called Hadria. And I think that it balances the game really well. So Hadria, Jason, gains lore like on her own throughout the game. As like quests are completed around her and things. You can't like put her on a quest, but like things are happening to gain her lore. At the end of the game, even if someone hits 12, when the game ends, everyone who is ahead of Hadria gets deleted.
Interesting.
So she just blasts everyone in front of her. So you have to be like moving her and keeping up with her and getting to like, it's a super fascinating thing that I think is going to add some layers to it.
For sure. It even feels like they even makes it even more gamification, because you're now actually doing more tactical moves while still trying to keep your character hidden. But yeah. So I'm very curious. Moving other people ahead of Hadria, to try and knock other people out. So you're doing your best. You don't want to get ahead of. Oh, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. So I think it involves that incentivizes moving other characters way more, which is so fascinating. So really excited for it. Veiled Fate. They have a 2-player game, a version of it that just came out, or just like the Kickstarter just ended. I didn't end up backing it because we just haven't gotten Veiled Fate to the table too many times. And so we'll see if I regret that.
I think if it was one that let me do a $1 access to the Pledge Manager, I did it, but some Kickstarters do and some don't, right? I've backed a ton at the $1 level, so I have access to the full Pledge Manager. So if that one did, then I did. But I could look it up, but some don't, and some actually, and I don't blame them. Some have, okay, for $5 access to a pledge manager. Okay, it's a little too much. God bless you. I wish the best for your game. If it funded, you don't need my $5 because you set an amount that to fund for it. So Veiled Fates. I'm glad you're able to play the games. I know you like it, and it's interesting because we played at MCO, and the next day we were still talking about it. And I don't know if we ever had this following conversation, but and I think it's why you're out caddying, but our consensus, I think you said the same, is the next time you play 6, just don't play teams, right? Play 6 individual just to see. Does it really need to be teams? Because I was watching Mike DeLiso talk about it because it was on his I think he's on his top 100 or something, and he said he really likes the team aspect, but we talked about the good and bad, so it depends on how you want to play it. But playing 6 but individual, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. So cool. I'm glad you're able to play it. And then I'm sure the blinged out bits were fun as well, right? So
it was a blast. I will say I have this like raised city bit in the middle.
Okay, yeah.
Actually ended up like so cool looking functionally.
Yeah.
Because you like couldn't see some of the quests on the other side. Also, fun little addition, and this is my last thing I'll say on it because it did add this expansion. So you know how when you went from the abyss to the pools, you got a card.
Yeah.
But when you went to the pools to the city, you could refresh.
Yeah.
So one of the expansions that I got in the Kickstarter is a dice. It's like a D20 essentially that has a bunch of different options on it, and it replaces that refresh.
That's cool.
So every time you move into the city, you roll the die, and the next time is something different. So like one of them was like gain a renown or get smited again, and you flip the coin to decide that.
Yeah.
One was just straight up gain a renown. One was lose a renown. Draw a card, like a couple refreshes. Like there was a lot of things like that on it. Super cool. It made the gamification of moving things into the city like, okay, cool.
Because now you have high risk, high reward, because if you're going to do it, you may get smited again, or you may get that
just jump right back to the pool.
Like I just got out. So well, that's cool. That's cool to hear about the little expansions in games that sometimes just push it over the edge for sure are nice. And I don't, sometimes they were playtesting that and someone house ruled it. Like, well, let's just make this little mini expansion or something. So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. My game that I played, and I think literally I'm looking through my plays. I've only played, since MCO, so 2 weeks. I haven't played a game. We played Let's Go to Japan. So I think I did tell you this. Maybe I'm breaking all kinds of news to you, but Elizabeth and Xander are going to Japan the last week of May. We had told him a while back, Xander, when he had his graduation gift, we said, "What would you want? Here's your graduation gift. What do you want to do?" And he goes, "I want to go to Japan." So Elizabeth and Xander are going to Japan, and there's this game called, and I've talked about it before, it's called Let's Go to Japan. And the idea of the game is you're planning a trip to Japan. So thematically, super cool. Thematic gameplay, nothing like planning a trip. But at the end of the game, so at its heart, it's a card drafting game. We play 2-player, but it plays pretty much the same. It's exact same gameplay no matter what. And there's a deck of Tokyo cards and there's a deck of Kyoto cards that are face down. And you draft in basically there's 13 rounds, but it goes pretty quick. I mean, it's really 7 wonders. I'm going to draft, play, and pass. Draft, play, and pass. Draft, play, and pass. That's essentially what you're doing with a couple of bonuses. The unique thing is, so you're looking at the cards, and the cards could be visit a game store, visit a cat cafe, attend a festival. And it's either it's blues Kyoto or Tokyo, or there's also a wild card that could be anything. And then you have a board that's labeled Monday through Saturday, and you're playing cards in front of you. So instead of playing, your 7 wonder cards above your wonder, you're playing on these days. And once you play a card, it has to stay on that day. But if you play another card later on, it can go on top or bottom. And once you play 2 cards, if you play a third card, you could put it in the middle. You just can't rearrange them. And those cards have essentially symbols on the top. It's kind of a set collection game because at the end of the game, based on these symbols, you're going to do some scoring on it. It's actually really light for a gamer because it's just your set collection. You're going to end up having 3 cards on each day. So you're going to have 18 cards. There's a couple abilities to play extra cards. And the face-up card on the bottom will have basically an if-then condition. If you have 3 symbols, you get 5 points, something like that. Oversimplifying it, but that's the gist of it. And you go through and score all those things. It's a card drafting game. I love drafting cards. And then it's a unique way because I'll draft 2 and pass, but you don't pick that one up that I just passed. It eventually becomes a stack of 4. Then in that 4th or 5th round, I would pick up that stack of 4 Elizabeth gave me. Then I play 2 and pass 2. So then I'm putting those 2 right back to Elizabeth. And so there's a chance you're going to pass the same cards back and forth in a 2-player game. So it's the fun thing about it is it's thematically there with how you're basically the guy, the way I understand it, the designer was going to go to Japan, COVID hit. And so he'd done all this work, and he's a game designer. He'd done all this work to prep for going to Japan, so he'd created a game out of going to Japan because he couldn't go to Japan during COVID. Super cool. The theme is there. It's just at the very surface level. Because once you're there, the idea is once you're there, you tell the story. So on Monday, we stayed at Ryokan, and then we went to a festival, and then we went to a cat cafe. Then we took the train to Kyoto, and we did this. And then we took the train back to Tokyo, and then we did this, right? If you embrace that side of it, it's really fun. If you head down, it's drafting and set collection. But like, you just have fun with the little bits on there. I liked it. Let's Go Japan. And I went all in. And so I have the game mat, and they have these little ceramic bowls that just hold the token pieces and the upgraded pieces. A lot of people in the game world, a lot of people are loving it just because it's cute and it's nice. And those ceramic bowls go for a lot of money right now, but I'm not selling them because I like them. So anyway, Let's Go Japan. We're actually going to, Liz and I played it because we're just for the fun of it, looking at it to help think about stuff. Jamie Stegmaier he's a big fan of Japanese related things. He did a semester abroad there. He even said he used the game to kind of help think through stuff at the high level, because all these cards are different things you can do in Japan. We're going to play it with Xander as well, just for the fun of talking through all, because a lot of things like, visit Akihabara and go to an anime cafe and go to a manga cafe and visit visit some sake bars, stuff like that. So Let's Go Japan. I think the retail edition's out there and easy to get now. I kickstarted it, but I think it's pretty easy to get right now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. The theme guy here. 7 Wonders with a different theme.
Yeah.
You had me immediately.
Well, because in the end, like I said, real time, it doesn't feel like it. I mean, because you're planning your trip, and at the end, you take your trip. So if you embrace the theme, like, we went to this festival and saw this really cool whatever, and if you dive into it with that, it's very much there and it's very much fun. So, but 7 Wonders actually with a theme, that's a good way to. It really is a good way to describe it.
Yeah, that's. I am here for it. Speaking of things I'm here for, guys, your episode today, your top 10. We are talking. I hope you are ready for just nostalgia, the episode. We're talking about our top 10 favorite games that we've played together. So we have played a lot of games together. It's crazy. I think about the fact that we've known each other for over 4 years. Because we've known each other since before the first takeover.
Yep.
So like we're super long there, but the board game side of things, like we knew about, hey, we both play board games. It's a thing, but I've been playing board games at the Collins house and in hotel rooms during disc golf trips. We've been doing this for 3 years now, which is awesome. And I love it. I look forward to it. We were joking about that. I have a trip up in June, or in July. And we're like, well, it'd be kind of nice if I get eliminated early, because then I get to go to the Collins house and play some games.
Yeah, I know. It's a little, or if nothing else, maybe you check into it the next day, maybe you're able to come up a day and play one night, and then everybody goes, because I don't know how they're going to do that. Right. So yeah. I mean, so to caveat, to piggyback on that, like, folks have heard me talk about it. You referenced early. BG Stats is an app I've used since 2021. I think I have. Great app. It's free. You can pay a few dollars for integration with Board Game Geek. And so I've tracked every play. I'd say 99% of every real gameplay. Like, I've quit tracking party games. I've quit tracking stuff. Not that those aren't fun, because I love them, but there's not point in tracking green team wins anymore, right? No. But in my plays, Robbie has moved up. He's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's number 6, which is impressive because I play a lot of games with a lot of family members, and he's at 70. We have 75 plays of once I've captured. Doesn't include some, like a handful of party games like we just talked about, but 75 plays. And the next one up is Hannah, my daughter, and she's at 175. So he's got a long way to pass that, but he is definitely below the people above her. Robbie is Hannah, Christopher, and Mandy, who are me and Elizabeth's hardcore gaming partners, of course, Ryder, and then Elizabeth. Me and Elizabeth have 869 plays together in 4 years. So that's pretty wild. So Robbie's at 75, just above Danielle with 73, and Bonnie with 63.
Come at me, Danielle and Bonnie.
Will is moving up though. Will's up to 63, so he's doing well, which is good. I mean,
that's true.
He's been a part of
if I lived in your basement, Jason, I would hope that I also climbed.
A lot of those too are Fantastic February because we've done 19. We're putting a pause on Fantastic February because Hannah's got to finish her senior film project, so we're not even going to play for I think another week. But we're up to 19 games for that. So anyway, 75 games in essentially 2 years because February of 23 was your first trip here that you stayed at the house, and so in essentially 2 years we've gotten in 75 plays, which is still pretty impressive to get a little over 2 years, only meeting 3 to 4 times a year that we're together,
Totally. Yeah.
Including takeover 4 to 5.
It's been nice with the addition of now like vending at places because what the guys don't realize is because they're not going to listen to this podcast is they're like, oh man, we're going back to the hotel. We're hanging out tonight. We're like, same. We're going to go play a game. Unlike poor Jason last time that we were at this last trip, we sat down and my brain was so scattered and so frazzled. Jason tried to show me this really cool game, and it's the most AP that I have ever felt in my entire life. And paralysis was it. Like Jason could probably see the shock in my eyes as I was just like, I don't know what to do here.
We didn't even finish the game. So
it was wild, guys. Wild. So top 2 games we ever played together. I want to start with an honorable mention. Jason and I both have one. So this is a game that Jason sent me the list of all of the games that we played. And so I'm looking through just to make sure I'm that weirdo that's like, I can remember in Calico from that 2023 trip of like, oh, I remember I was looking for this like purple, or I was looking for this like teal spotted tile. And I never saw it. And it was like, oh, okay, bummer. So the game that I completely forgot about though was Cat in the Box.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is this like, if Cat in the Box is the game I'm thinking of, it's a trick taking game, but it's unlike any other trick taking game that I've ever seen in my life because you have these cards, but they don't have a color assigned to them.
Yep.
So you're like actively picking what color it is, and trump gets predetermined. It was so fascinating from a like trick taking perspective. And one of the best parts is that like if you get stuck at a certain point, you just lose points. And I remember the first time we played, Elizabeth gets stuck early. And like just hardcore stuck. And Elizabeth is a very good trick taker. And she was just like you could just tell it caught her off guard, like how she got stuck that bad. And we all just kind of chuckled about it a little bit and was like, okay, you got stuck. That happens, whatever. The next round, Jason gets stuck. And so then all of a sudden it's like, okay, is Robbie going to get stuck? And at that point I was just like, I don't care if I win every single game. I'm not getting stuck the whole night. Like it's just not going to happen. And so then it turned into Elizabeth just started diving deeper and deeper to try to get out.
Yeah.
And she just kept getting stuck with more and more cards. And it was great. I think at the end of it, it resulted in cards just kind of getting thrown onto the table of like, are you kidding me? So
yeah.
Cat in the Box.
Yeah.
It was shockingly enjoyable. It was one that I thought about like, I need to take this back to my trick taking family because they would really enjoy it.
Right. Because it's so different. There are a lot of trick taking games out there, but it's just so different. And I'd had it for a while and we kept not putting on there because we played the crew so much. But after we finished, mission or the first one, Space 9 or whatever it's called. I don't forget the subtitle of that. We decided to do that. So good. My honorable mention is it's to enhance a game that's not even on BG Stat, so you wouldn't even necessarily remember we did it, is Blockbuster the board game or Blockbuster the video game or whatever. I forgot what it's called.
The Blockbuster. It's like the Blockbuster game or something.
So, it's a big box game. It's a $15 game from Target or Walmart. But if you are a movie person and don't mind getting super stressed because of the frenetic nature of the gameplay, it was fantastic. It was a massive hit. Hannah has talked about it often since that night because we played it over in the kitchen in our dining room, and we had a whole bunch of us at the table. So I think you ran it. You didn't even play because you were running it for us or something. But that's an honorable mention that I recently it was on sale or there was some deal at Target, so I bought it for Hannah, and I forgot I'd even bought it. So I was telling her, Elizabeth, the other night what my honorable mention was. And Hannah's like, what are you guys talking about? And I said, we're doing this podcast tonight. She goes, oh, did you guys buy it? I was like, no. And then I snuck in here and grabbed it. I said, but we did buy it for you. Here's an early graduation present. So I gave that gift. I gave that game to Hannah tonight, and she was wildly excited. And Will's like, Mr. Collins, I wish you hadn't done that because we're going to play it so much now. Because she, Hannah's a cinematic arts major. She's a big movie person. I've raised her to be a movie person like her dad. So I appreciate that. Even though we haven't played it since, but I have a lot of games, and I will probably eventually get it as well, play it with someone with Hannah, just so it's a fun one to pull out because it's so light. It's so easy. If you're a movie person, if you are not a movie person, don't play that game because you're not going to have any fun with that. Same way with Hitster. If you're not a music person, do not play Hitster because you will not have fun. And I've played with people who are not who are not really music people, even though I thought they were, and they did not have fun. So my honorable mention is Blockbuster, the video game. I don't even know.
The board game. Yeah.
The board game. So, yep.
Super, super fun. Well, Jason, do you want to go ahead and get us started with your number 10?
Yep. My number 10. So it's funny that you mentioned Calico because my number 10 is Calico. And I'm going to do a little dig at you first, right? So we'll set the table. This is the first time Robbie comes up to stay at my house. He had driven up. I think you'd also went and had dinner with like the Overthrow guys. So you're already there. Yeah. So you got to my house late, and we were doing Fantastic February, and we'd already set to play Calico. Now, Calico, we haven't covered it yet. We covered Calico. We covered Calico. Yeah. But if you guys remember, if you haven't listened, go listen to it. But it's basically you place a tile and take a tile. That's the entire game. It's literally, and there's no restrictions to playing the tile. Now, how you play the tiles dictates in the game scoring, but it's probably the easiest game in my entire collection to play. Truly, because even Cascadia has some restrictions on the animal tiles, right? Totally. Calico is place a tile and take a tile. So you're talking about the easiest game play. Robbie drove 8, 9, 10 hours, lost an hour, goes has dinner, gets to my house like 9 o'clock at night. We jump in this game, and to me, okay, this is a really light game. You play a tile, place a tile. And then like 30 minutes in, Robbie's like this. And I'm like, okay, we're good friends here, Robbie. So I'm going to be transparent here. I was like, I thought Robbie was a gamer. And he is struggling with this really. Now, to optimize this game, it's a head down. You don't really talk to anybody during this game. And that wasn't a great way. In hindsight, I feel really bad because Robbie's a very talkative person, as we know. And this is a game you don't really talk. Because if you talk for a second, you forgot your train of thought. Even I don't talk a lot in this game, and I play fast because you're trying to work out the patterns and the symbols and the patterns and the colors around your scoring tiles and get them all together. But I remember at the end of during that game going, wow, Robbie's he's always talked about being a big gamer, but he is not a gamer. I'm a little disappointed in this first experience with Robbie. I was wrong. I'm admitting my sins. Please forgive me. But like in that initial time, because that was the first game Robbie and I had ever really played together at his takeover before we'd kind of played like just one, and then the birdie disc golf game. That doesn't count, right? That's first time we'd sat down and played like a no kidding tabletop gamer kind of thing. So Calico is my number 10 for good and bad reasons. So I apologize for that, Robbie.
No, I get it. I almost put Calico on the list in terms of like, it was the first, and it's iconic. And I remember, so the other side of the coin there is that I remember sitting down and then being like, this is a simple game for them, because I wasn't thinking about the actions of the game. I was thinking about like, bro, you have to be planning so far in advance in order to optimize the score. Like, I'm going to get crushed in this game because how am I supposed to plan that far out and like do this? Before I realized that like the Collins also just play games to play games. So there's times where they're just like, I hope this strategy works out, but like, I'm just going to keep dropping tiles and doing my thing. And maybe I get a great quilt. Maybe I don't. And so I'm like, I remember getting crushed in that whole first trip. I was like, if I called Lindsay after the second day where we played that road trip game.
Yeah, on tour.
It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just a rolling ride at that point where you also, there's like there are restrictions in that one, but it's like still, So I remember doing that, and I called Lindsay on the next day, and I was like, Lindsay, these guys are so good. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to win while I'm up here. And so it was crazy. So my number 10 comes in as Flamecraft. And Flamecraft the reason Flamecraft is up there for me, so fun. The combos are such a good time. Like, I'm a combo lover. I love linking things together. But like, it's all about inside jokes. And so with Flamecraft, I have this feeling of when Flamecraft was explained to me, the first time it was ever explained to me, I remember hearing like Jason teaching it and him really putting this emphasis on what the certain colors do. And then like all these dragons have different names, but the colors are what matters. And so he really put this emphasis when he taught me the game. And I'm a button pusher. I'm a playful button pusher, probably the best way to put it. And so if I know something actually bothers you, I will not push the button at all, especially my friends. I'm not going to do that. Like, that's just being a bad friend. But I'll push a little button as like a ha 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 ha. And so because of that, it has just led to this. Ever since I heard the story of Jason teaching this game, it is truly for me. I'll always ask, so what does the purple dragon do? Yep. And we'll be playing a game that doesn't even have dragons in it. Yep. Like, we're playing Finspan. There are no dragons inside. It's all fish. And I'm like, okay, but quick question while you're over there, Jason, what does the red dragon do? And so it will always, I own Flamecraft, and I get a little smile every time I pass it of like, yep. So what does the yellow dragon do? What's the meat, like the stone dragon do?
It's like, what does that yellow dragon down there do? The same thing that yellow dragon in front of you does, and the same one there in front of Elizabeth. They all do the same thing, but I will explain to you what mine does down here. No, you're right, and that's a constant. That is a bit that will remain in our board gaming lives forever.
Yeah. So my number 9 is Stella, actually. So okay. Stella, I think about Stella because I love Dixit. I think Dixit is so fun. We've covered it here on the channel, and I know that we'll cover Stella in the future. And I remember when we initially played Stella, because I've played so much Dixit, I remember not like necessarily being like the greatest fan of it, but the more I come back to it, I can understand why y'all love Stella so much. And it just like, it sticks with me. It also is one of the games that we played with Dakota and Marissa. Yep. And it's very much how are you thinking about this type thing and making these connections? And I just remember like Marissa going so crazy with it the first time. And she was like, yeah, I saw 8 connections or something. And we were all like, okay. Fire off, girl, like, do your thing. And so it was just like, I think of that game and I think of sitting there with Dakota and Marissa, sitting with y'all, and just having a blast playing it. And I think if you like Dixit, Stella is a great next step up.
Yep, for sure. I love Stella, and it's fun to see how similar to Dixit, how each person looks at those things. By this point we talked about, I'm a bigger Stella person, but we played Dixit. I played Dixit at the takeover. I ran a Dixit game, and it's a great game as well. So they're both there for a reason. My number 9 is one that it was not the first trip, but maybe the second trip you're up, and it's a game that doesn't get a lot of love in the board game world, but Elizabeth and I played a ton, and it's a game I even said that if the right cards come out, I'm going to smoke you. And in Kingdom Builder, the right things came out, and I methodically squeezed the life out of Elizabeth and Robbie. Elizabeth did her best, but it's one of those games.
Oh, we got
smoked. If the right things come out, I'm going to win. Like, I played this a lot on BGA, and it's the same way. Like, I played a game the other day, and some guy chatted me, goes, "Oh wow, you get some tough draws, buddy." Because if you get the wrong things based on the scoring goals, you're stuck. And I literally had probably the most perfect game of Kingdom Builder ever. Because we were playing it out there, and I was like, oh, yeah. And as I pulled each card, I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. And I methodically just squeezed the life out of you and Elizabeth. And I even said, I remember saying beforehand, if the right things come out, I'm going to win this game because I know it so well. And I'm thankful because the right things came out. I acknowledge that it lined up perfectly for me in that game. But it was just funny to just watch. There was no chance. Like, because it comes a point in that game, especially if things keep coming out right, like there's no chance. Even though you don't score real time, like there's no chance if you know how it scores. And we told you that, and Elizabeth knew it as well. And it was a fun time to actually pull off one of those games. So
I thought about Kingdom Builder, and literally my whole reason was going to be like, Kingdom Builder was the game that made me realize there are just games that I cannot play Jason in, because if we're just done. Like Agricola, I have nightmares about playing Agricola with you, and I still haven't played it because I just know Same thing. Like,
Yep.
I'm just ready, and I've said it before. Like, I'm ready to play Agricola
Yep.
and get like I'm ready to just loose by 100.
Yep.
So looking forward to it.
Lorcana's that way. You could give me a great deck of Lorcana, and you could take a bad deck, and I could do my best.
Yeah.
But unless everything pulls out great and I get insanely lucky, you're going to win those every single time, even with a bad deck, because you know your mind you don't even got to think. You just process it so quickly. So yeah, in Agricola, if I get the right cards, because granted, I haven't played Agricola in 3 years, even on the app. I think 2 to 3 years. But I just know them so well, and we play the drafting version of that. If we play the drafting version, I was like, oh yeah. I just stack my deck, and it's really good. So, okay, so that was my number 9. My number 8 is one that we actually had the publisher of this game on the channel as one of our interviewers, James Hudson. Sorcerer City. I'll jump up there and say Sorcerer City. The 2 reasons why Sorcerer City is there, because we talked about with James and we played it. We eventually covered it on the channel. It just doesn't get any love because and James said it gets stuck into this world of real-time games. It's not really the frenetic real-time game that other real-time games are, right? It has a timer to place your things, but it's not really a real-time game in that way. You just basically have a timer on there. If that makes gamers will understand that there's some games that are real-time and you're frenetic and you're doing this and you're moving there and you're doing this. You know, Sorcerer City is not quite that way. And every time, and I say this with a lot of games, but I mean, when I play Sorcerer City, I'm like, oh wow, I really like that game. Now it can take a while, especially with 4 or 5 players, because of the buying phase. The scoring and buying phase just takes time. It's a process. But the bringing it out was good. It became a one we did on the channel. And even better, on Robbie's drive home, he stops at McKay's and gets Sorcerer City. I mean, God is good, and he wanted Robbie to have Sorcerer City. That's all I got to say. Because he literally sent me a photo of Sorcerer City, and he had bought it on the way home. What are the odds of us just doing it and then him getting on the way home? So Sorcerer City is my number 8.
Dude, and I played it that week. Like, I literally had people over to play it again that week. I remember just like, man, that game was so good, because I'm a big Carcassonne guy. I love, of the big 3, Carcassonne is my favorite. And I was like, oh, it's like speed Carcassonne, but I'm doing my own city. Yeah. That's so cool. And I get to rebuild it every time. It's deck building Carcassonne, probably the better way to describe it. So really, really cool. No, I love that. My number 8 is Charterstone. Charterstone is Stonemaier Games, and it's a legacy game by definition, right?
Yeah, it is by definition, because you are changing the game as you go. You can play the game at the end. Once we finish the 10 campaigns, it's a campaign game. It's also a legacy game because it's campaign because you're going through scenarios, but it's legacy because you're changing the board as you go. So, and you're changing the game as you go.
And I guess you would just have like a nice full,
and you'd have a final game. You could play Charterstone as its final board, and that you could literally, because your rule book is full, and you can just play it as it is. So yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, so Charterstone, the thing about Charterstone is that Jason Elizabeth had played through Charterstone before, and so then we came back through, and we decided, hey, we're going to be doing this thing for a long time, so why don't we just start working through all of the games of Charterstone together. So I think that it's the legacy aspect. Having the hardest part about legacy games to me is committing with a group. We're going to finish this. Like, we're going to go through, we're going to do these games. It's going to be awesome. But that also I'm a routines guy, like I said in the earlier part of the episode. So I love that, like, when I go up, I know we're playing a game of Charterstone, and it's the only game in the entire time that I've been there that I've ever played on different trips that isn't a party game. So because we just have so many games that we want to play and like learn and play together, that I love this game and you love that game, but we never played it together. So let's now test it out this time. Like, we just don't repeat games yet. And I look forward to the day that we repeat games, but it is like, so I know it's cool to me knowing that like a Charterstone game's coming. But one of my favorite memories is the first time we played Charterstone, Jason wins the first game. And so he wins the first game. And then the way the rules set up is that whoever wins doesn't get to name their city.
Yeah.
And so Elizabeth and I start naming all of the cities, and my character like controls the mines. And so I lean into Red Rising, and I'm like, this is Lycos. Like, here we go. It's going to be so cool. I give this cool name to my city. Elizabeth gives a cool name to her city. And we come around, and we could just see Jason is so bummed because he's like, guys, just don't name it something dumb. Like, please don't name it like Happy Land or something. And we're like, so Elizabeth and I are giggling because we're like, maybe we do. Maybe we don't. He just has to live with whatever we name it. And I think we landed on Gotham is the name of your area.
So I had to look it up. So something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I remember this, like, Jason being punished for winning first game. And like just having to sit there the entire time. It probably took us like 3 or 4 minutes of just trying to name all the places. And he's just sweating the whole time of like, I have to deal with this for the whole rest of however many years it takes us to finish this.
Yep.
So Charterstone. It was a good one.
I forgot about that. And that's every time we see it, when I look at the name, I'll obviously remember that. So
yeah. So my number 7 is coming in as Res Arcana. Okay. So probably one that might shock you that it made the list, because I feel like we did it. It was like the second game we'd played that night. We pulled it out kind of on a whim. We played, and what I really loved about Res Arcana.
I hear Arcana.
Yeah,
I think it's Arcana.
Yeah, I bet Arcana makes
we
sense.
say Res Arcana. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I will join the Collins family in this. Res Arcana. I really like how different it is. It felt very trading card game-esque.
Yep.
In that there was a multitude of strategies to win. And what I really appreciated about it is, as we were playing this game, it was me, Elizabeth, and Jason, and we all had engines going at the end of the game that were vastly different from one another. And so like I had this like Dragonfire engine thing going. Jason had this like blue engine going where he was just getting water left and right and then converting it into major points. And Elizabeth had this like black engine going with these like different resources, and just so wildly different from one another. And I really appreciated that, because it was like, I could see this being a game that I don't get to the table very often, but I just enjoy it every time because it felt like the like most quintessential Collins family game that I've seen, because there is just so many different ways to attack it. And you also have to adapt based on the cards that come out. So really, really, really fun game.
Yep. It's one that, I'll say this a lot, but it's one that even the reviewers talk about how it just doesn't get a lot of love, but when they play it, it's like, oh yeah, because if you like trading card games or living card games, you have some of that because you're playing cards and you're tapping cards and you're getting abilities, and it can be a longer game or can speed up really quick, and you're doing an engine builder, and like you said, depending on what cards you get, depending on how you draft them in the beginning, may dictate what kind of engine you have. So we like Res Arcana a lot. It's one of my favorite things to say is I need to play that one more, but I need to play that one more because it can be that way, because there's so many fun things you can do, and you can have a really fun engine. I remember having that game thinking, I have a chance to win, but I'm going to do such fun things and getting so many resources. I was really enjoying the game, even when I ended up not winning, because you ended up winning. You had 11. Another thing too, you only like the game ends in a round when someone scores 10 points. Like it's like you're not scoring a lot of points. Nothing. All of a sudden your engine just boom and you're there. Yeah. So
I think I was at like 3 points, and then I went up to like 6 the next turn, and then I won the next turn. Like it was literally like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. Very cool. Good choice. All right, man. My number 7.
Yeah.
My number 7 is probably I should have said this originally as well. Other than my number 1, they're not necessarily in a perfect order. Like my number 2 is definitely not my number 2. These are also good. I couldn't really rank them. Number 1's a given when we talk about it, but everything else is kind of there. So that's why my number 7 is Castles of Burgundy. Mostly just because I love Castle of Burgundy. Right now, I mean, Dinosaur Island hits there a lot, but right now, Castle of Burgundy, by far my all-time favorite game. BGA has a lot to do with that, because I just love the machinations of what I get to with Castles of Burgundy. And what I liked about it is that Elizabeth and I just destroyed Robbie, because he's not a good gamer, but he's like, yeah, I've never played that game, so clearly I would have done something wildly different the next time around, because there's so many little things that are all very easy to understand. But then putting that together in the big picture of all games, like mini games, even I would do the same thing. Oh, I'll play something different next time. That's one that at the end, because I think Elizabeth and I were like at 2 something, and Robbie was like at 1 something. Like it was a big blowout. So we played with we didn't play with any expansion stuff, but our scores got really big because of the things that came out. And so I remember that being like, I kind of felt bad for Robbie because we just methodically pulled away, and there was never a chance, because we were both Liz and I were both playing to win. This tough thing is, like, I play to have fun, but if I see Elizabeth's really trying to win, well, then I would turn it on to really try to win as well. And it's basically Liz and I were playing a 2-player game, and Robbie was just hanging out watching us play this game because he had never played it. And there's so many things, but then after you play it once, it's like, oh, I actually see the picture now. Because when you're painting when someone explains some games and you're painting the picture, like, I don't really know what this is going to look like at the end. I'm just painting. And at the end of that game, you're like, especially someone like you is like, oh, I totally get it now. And the next time if I ever play this again, it'll be wildly different and it'll be a much tighter game. And I agree that Castles of Burgundy would be one of those for you. I love Castles of Burgundy.
Jason will confirm that every time I play a game, my one question is how many points should be like an expected total. And the running joke really on the Collins household is that sometimes I hit that point total exactly where I'm trying to get. And it's just like, oh no, like someone else also had a legendary game and popped off and was like 20 points above it. So good luck. But I literally, every time I play a new game, I'm like, okay, I need to get that many points. And I like work out a strategy to get to that many points. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to lean into this one part of the thing and see what happens. And it's probably why I feel like at this point, the win rates are starting to average out in terms of I'm starting to get like a better grasp of the things. But no, like it is, I come across a classic like Castles and it was, I'm going to try to do this. Ooh, that is not good.
Yeah, so Castle of Burgundy, because I mean I love castles, and it's one of those that Robbie will remember. Like, yeah, you aren't that far behind, but in the game you could tell like Robbie had no chance because we were just Castle of Burgundy. You score a lot real time, and you see somebody methodically pulling away. So, and it was my high score ever. So there you go. Talk about that legendary one. It was literally my high score I'd ever had in that game. Elizabeth's highest score as well in a 3-player game. So it was just funny. My number 6 is not the only. It's not the only. It's my first co-op game. So we played a game called Dead by Daylight, inspired by a video game.
Yeah.
And so we talked about it quickly on because after you came, I think we talked about a game we played lately. Dead by Daylight, it's 1 versus many, and that we're basically trying to escape a killer in this dungeon or building or something like that. That's the oversimplification of it. And we are cooperatively talking about actions we're taking and moving around. What I remember about more than anything, and you'll know this as well, is like my son Ryder, we talked about Ryder many times, hardcore gamer. He loved Ryder. He'll get emotional about things, good, bad, or indifferent. And we praise Ryder to this day for how he handled that because he was the one. And if a die roll could go, because there's some die rolls, if the die roll could go against Ryder, it went against him every single time. Like Ryder didn't get a single lucky roll, a single break the entire game, and he handled it. He handled it way better than I would have had. Even being the mature adult I am, I would not have handled it as well as Ryder did. And if you know Ryder, he handled it just magnificently that day. So to handle how bad luck in a not heavy die rolling game, but a game where you roll some die that you need some luck on, when everything went for us, the 4 of us, me, Robbie, Hannah and Will played that versus Ryder. I will always remember that because it went our way. It didn't go Ryder's way, and he handled it very well for him. So, and another, not a super great, not like a super heavy deep game, but just if you want a fun cooperative game to do stuff and you like the video game Dead by Daylight, it was a fun one to play.
Yeah, I definitely think if you enjoy the game, if you enjoy the video game, you'll love the board game because it is a simplified and more attainable way to like introduce people into the world of Dead by Daylight. So I thought that was really fun. And yeah, like, dude, it came down to like, that exact thing Jason's saying of like, it was like, all right, he's caught Hannah. Hannah's so dead. Like she's dead and we are in trouble. Yeah. She just has to roll like 3 die and they have to land on one. Like it was literally like one side of the die had to hit on 3 different die and she got it perfect. And we were like, I mean, the room's screaming and Ryder's just taking it to the chest. Like
he's doing a really good job.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're all going crazy because it really was. It was 5 of us cheering against him. Yeah. That's tough. That's tough. So well played. That's great choice. My number 6 is Planet Unknown.
Okay.
That game lives so rent free in my head. Like I love a polyomino game. I love trying to get the pieces to fit. And when I tell people who like polyomino, like, bro, this game has a lazy Susan built into it. They're like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Is it like $400? And you're like, I have no idea how much it costs, but it's so worth it, whatever it is, because it's so good. And it's not even that slow paced because you're always getting a piece on your turn, which is really, really cool. If you love a polyomino, it's really good. It's crunchy. It has that layer to it. Like you're moving things up a track while you're also doing it. So it has so many cool elements to it. I just remember Planet Unknown being a game of, we had not really shared that we all love polyomino yet. So like that core connection of enjoying games. And there's something about when you're playing games with your group, like you'll just find there are games that you really like, and you may be the polyomino guy of your game group and no one else really enjoys it. So there are great polyomino games that you're just never going to get to the table.
Yeah.
And I think it connected for us of like, we love polyomino games because that led to us playing, it's not Charterstone, it's Cartographers, I think.
Yep.
Cartographers. It led to us playing Patchwork.
Yep.
Like we just realized, oh, we love polyomino. And we started with probably my favorite polyomino game that I've ever played in Planet Unknown. So really, really great.
Good choice. Good choice.
My number 5 is Quacks of Clevelandburg.
Okay.
So you would think maybe higher on the list based on how often we push Quacks and things like that. But Quacks, I will never forget the first time we played Quacks because Hannah won the game. And Hannah ends up winning the game because in the last round, if you don't blow up your pot, you get points for also your like buying power. And the whole time I had not blown up a single round until the 8th round. I believe there's 9 rounds in the game. Yep. And the 8th round I blow up. And I'm watching Jason get these rubies and he blows up. I want to say it was like the first 6 rounds. Like he just kept blowing up. And we were like, Jason, how are you getting so many cherry bombs, dude? He's like, I don't know. Like, what are the odds? Like he was looking, he's like, okay, I got 8 chips in this bag. And of these 8 chips, only one of them makes me blow. And then he put them in, and sure enough, that would be the one. And so Jason's just like, it's comically blowing up. He realizes he has no shot at winning this game, so he's just giving up, and he's having a good time. And I'm like, this was my first trip, and I realize this is the first game I'm going to win. Like, I'm going to do it. Here we go. Hannah just has to blow up, and I'm in. Like, I got this. And I remember the joy of chasing this win. And then sure enough, I blow up in the round before last, and I'm like, well, I've not blown up that many times. So like, I don't need to use the rubies to flip my potion back over. That's just so unnecessary. I'm not going to blow up again. And then I go into the last round and literally I was at like 1 away from blowing up, like 5 chips in to the pulls. And I was like, what have I done? There's no shot that I actually like pull this off. And sure enough, I blew up. Hannah wins the game. And I was like, all right. And from this day forward, whenever I teach the game, I'm like, I don't care what you do, you better have your potion ready for the last round because you will need it or you will kick yourself for not having that potion ready. So it is a game that, like I said, I just appreciated your attitude while blowing up time after time after time. And then truly it is foundational to every time I play Quacks, even how I teach it changed off of that one game.
And it's a very, Quacks is a bigger thing. Like you said, it's where we talk about Quacks a lot. So on this podcast, and we're, for the longest time, that's what at least our listeners, the biggest game people got into from hearing us talk was Quacks. So it's a seminal thing for sure. My number 5 is Stone Age. I'll jump right to it. But it's going to be a little dig. I love digging Robbie here. So here's number 10 was a dig. Here's number 5 was a dig. So Stone Age, one of my all-time favorite games. Love it. And in our family, we played it a ton. It was one I showed Brad and Kimberly early. They liked it a lot. Like Brad brought me the upgraded bits for like Christmas because he found them and they're really cool. And so we played it a ton. And then, okay, hear me out. We're friends. I love you, Robbie. But we play the game. He knows it's one of my favorites. And at the end of the game, he basically thinks about it and methodically, in a polite, academic way, talks about why it's not really a good game. He didn't realize he was saying that, but he basically talked about every reason why it wasn't a good game. And like it hurt me it didn't hurt, but it was on my mind. It lived rent free in my head for a long time because everything you said was true, and it doesn't. And those true things don't take away from people's enjoyment. But I had to really evaluate why I enjoy Stone Age or not, right? And granted, he didn't score very well either. But it's like castles, because until you play it, Stone Age is actually very easy as well. But like it's until you paint the picture. That's gonna be my new analogy. You don't really know what it looks like. Like when you're painting, it doesn't matter. And at the end, it's like, okay, I would have painted that way different the next time around. And the same way with Stone Age, he would have done a lot better because it's the nature of Liz and I know exactly what to do. Like, and that was your point, was like, you're going to do the same thing every single time. It's like, not quite, but kind of. Now in BGA, that's not true. I've also learned that BGA teaches me a lot that the games I think you're always going to do this, you're not always going to do that, but you go deep in other ways and you're pushing your luck going deep in other ways. But there is no doubt, like I've lost on BGA multiple times and I had the most cards. So I went big with cards, but people had points other ways. Right. So it's not, I have learned since then and I don't, BGA is tough because people play slow. Even the async version of Stone Age, I don't play a lot of Stone Age on there, but I've seen there are definitely other ways. The same way Splendor blew my mind on how to play Splendor differently once I started playing BGA. But Stone Age, still one of my favorite games. It hasn't been top 10 for a long time, and I will happily play Stone Age because it's just fun to go through it. But after that game, I still remember sitting downstairs, Robbie standing up there and just basically tearing everything down, not in a mean way, but to me, it felt like you were tearing everything down about this game I had raved about. And it was February of 24. So you'd been coming to my house for like your fourth or fifth trip at that time. And I've raved about this game. And you basically just destroyed it. You didn't destroy it, but you were, and everything you said is still true. The whole point is, right, you didn't lie and it wasn't emotional. It was actually very accurate, the statements you made. So I had to really evaluate those things. I still love Stone Age and I'll happily play it anytime, but that's my number 5.
Dude, I literally went upstairs after that game and I texted Lindsay and I was like, I think I'm a terrible person. And she was like, what did you do this time? And I was like, I think I just came off so salty. Like, and I really don't even think I was that upset that I lost. I just was like, how does Jason I just didn't see it. Like I didn't see the spark.
Yeah.
And I just didn't hide it at all. And I was like, I think it's like really rude. Like like, what am I supposed to do, Lindsay? Like, I don't even know. And so, yeah, it was tough. I very much remember that game and been like, yeah, I think I'm a terrible person. I think I just ruined this guy's
obviously
game.
You're not a terrible person. You still stay at my house every time you come. We still play games. We still have fun. So I've gotten over it. So, but anyway, Stone Age, that was my number 5.
Well, I apologize, sir. A year and a half later,
I had to wait for a year and a half to us do it on air to get an apology, but I finally got it out of you. Thank you.
It's recorded. Here we go.
My number 4 was your honorable mention, Cat in the Box. Okay. And the reason, one of the many, like Cat in the Box is unique and it's fun, and we play a ton of the crew. We play you and I, Elizabeth, me, you and John. We play a ton of crew. We're trick takers at heart. We talked about this many times. If you're either a trick taker or you're not. If you're not, it's okay. You can get into it. But we are trick takers, right? And so this unique game where Robbie kind of talked about earlier, that you define what your card is so different. It's still trick taking, but it flips us on its head. And so just playing it was fun. But what I realized tonight when Liz and I were talking, because I already had on my top 10 list, it's the only game that we've played that we learned together. Because you've taught me all of your games. You've played like all the games you taught, you've played at least once. Every other game I've taught you, I had played at least once. But Cat in the Box, we learned that together. So that's the only game I think on our entire list that you and I, that's a game between us that we learned together at the same time. Does that make sense? So it's the first game that we actually played. Each of us first time playing that game was actually with each other. And so that's what's another seminal thing for there. Cat in the Box, still a fun game. If you're a trick taker, try it. It'll mess with your head in a good way because player count dictates stuff. And it's just, I would love to play this, like me, you, and John at some point. If we ever can link it up, I would love to play with John because, John's a great trick taker as well. So, but Cat in the Box was my number 4.
Yeah, dude, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I realized it tonight. It was already on my top 10 and I was rearranging them. And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, wow, that's actually the first game. And so that was a key thing for sure to help that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then I'm trying to remember what the name of it is, but there's that game that my first ever trip, I brought it. I still haven't played it. That I started.
Casting Shadows.
There it is. Yeah. So that'll be the next one. Huh?
You still haven't played it.
I still haven't played it.
I've only had like 2 or 3 left on my shelf of shame, but I've had ones that lasted way longer than that one did. So
yeah. 3 years on the shelf of shame. What are we doing? Casting shadows, but it'll be one day. And that way, you know what? Neither of us will be offended if we both play it and we're like, no, this game's kind of trash. Okay. Sick. Like, there's no investment either way. But who knows? Maybe we'll love it. I doubt it, but maybe we will. So my number 4 is super popular in the board gaming community, and it's Terraforming Mars.
Okay.
So one thing when I was building this list is I was like, I'm not just going to pick games I win. Because honestly, that would be a very small list amongst the 75 games. I didn't even know that I have 10. So I wanted to make sure. But Terraforming Mars, to me, I will never forget, because I had a blast playing Terraforming Mars. And I know that Jason and Elizabeth also love Terraforming Mars. Yep. So we're all playing this game. They're super excited to show it to me. I'm excited to play it because it's an iconic game in the board gaming community. And I'm excited to see what the hype is. And I'm like, I walked in literally, Jason, with this mindset of like, I hope it's not Stone Age. Because that's how much that game lived with me, is like, oh no, when Jason hypes a game up, like, don't be Stone Age. Like, not that I need it to be better than Stone Age, but like for me, it wasn't even, I need the game to be better than Stone Age. It is a, whatever happens here, Robbie, you better not do this, my man. Like, you better not Stone Age this thing, which is hilarious because now we're going to have a whole verbiage now that it's out in the air. Now we know. Jason, you really Stone Age that for me. Because I'm a terrible person. So, Terraforming Mars, we go to play this game and I'm loving it, like having a great time. And in the last few turns, start to look, because I don't remember if it's real-time scoring or not, but I'm just looking at how many points I'm going to have in front of me. And I felt like I had this sick engine going with all these cards and this different stuff happening. But I'm looking at Mars and I'm like, I just don't feel like I'm like that present. And I feel like I'm going to get crushed in this game. And sure enough, I did.
Yep.
And I remember when we get to the end and Elizabeth looks at me and she goes, do you not remember like the name of the game, Robbie? And I was like, what? It's Terraforming Mars. And she goes, yeah, you didn't do that.
Yeah.
Just completely didn't do like a whole, it wasn't even like where I play Castles of Burgundy and I went too heavy on one side of a strategy. So it just like made others parts weaker.
Right.
No, in Terraforming Mars, I just straight up did not terraform Mars. Yep. I think I put like one tile on the board of a space, got obliterated.
Yeah.
And I just like, I will never forget that of Elizabeth, one of the sweetest people in the world, looking at me like, do you not remember the name of the game?
Yep. I forgot about that. But as soon as you start talking about Terraform Mars, I remember that, because you can get Terraform Mars is a great game and you can get so deep into playing cards, you forget part of the game is actually putting stuff on Mars, right? Putting your tiles out with your cube on there to get some points, because you don't score the board points real time, but in your head, you're scoring, oh, wow, yeah, Jason has 20 blue, 20 of his out, Elizabeth has 17, I have 1. Okay. So.
Yeah, it was wild. So Terraforming Mars always stand out there. And when people ask me now, they're like, oh, Robbie, you ever played Terraforming Mars before? I'm like, I sure have. I have been a participant of when that game was being played, but I cannot say that I personally have terraformed Mars. Yeah. So whoops. My number 3 is the honorable mention that you had, the Blockbuster game. So the reason it is the top one, or it's top 3 for me. I will say that my top 5 were, I thought a lot about my top 5. These all landed pretty quickly. My 1, 2 easily locked in. But my 3, 4, 5, I shifted around a little bit. But my number 3, and the biggest reason for it, is we play games. When we do the intro here on the channel, what do we say? We say welcome to the table, because we are big believers at this podcast of wanting everyone to feel welcome, have a space. That's one of the best parts about hobby gaming, is that all different types of people can get to the table together, different backgrounds, and we can all enjoy this space. The world kind of stops for a minute when you're playing a board game.
Yep.
So I enjoyed like that aspect of it. And I remember when we played this game, something that I learned early on in the Collins household is that Xander's not going to play games. Like he doesn't like games. He won't play games with us. And I remember Xander coming and playing this game with us. And I remember Will was there. They weren't even engaged yet, I don't think, at that point. Like, we played this game. Everyone's having a blast. And I can't even really remember if a bunch of other people were over, because I just remember it feeling like I was a Collins.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first times that I felt like I was part of the family.
It was everybody. It was just us, right? But it was the 6 of us and you. So it was 7 of us. It was my 5, Will, and then you. So yeah. So you were a Collins that night. The first night of fully being a Collins.
Yeah. And so it had this like special connection of realizing, like, because in that game you're doing quotes and you're doing descriptions and one words from a movie. And so you just like get to see all of these inside jokes that happen because there are movie quotes being thrown around, which brings up memories of, oh, do you remember when we watched this? And we were living in this place at this time. And so it was really fun to get to participate because I knew the game and I knew the movies, but like getting to understand and see all these movies from y'all's family light, it really was like it truly is super special to me. And I'll never forget that memory of like, man, they are my family that lives in Virginia. So
I appreciate that. And I had forgot about the Xander, but you're right. Cause Xander's a good gamer. Cause in the last 2 years, we played a few games together, and because of his video game life and me bringing up a gamer, he picks up stuff. He may not make the right strategy, but he understands it. But you're right. He came in there on his own and is like, well, I'll play this game. And Xander just doesn't. I don't even ask him to play games anymore. Yeah. Not in a bad way. Cause I respect, as I learn my kids and my family, I respect them, and I don't want to obligate them or feel whatever. And I may ask them, but I don't think we even asked Xander to play. He just came in and realized, oh, I like this kind of game. So I'd forgotten all about that. So you're right. The honorary Collins for the night, or your first induction into the Collins. No, you're no longer an honorary. You're a Collins, but it was your induction to that. So good choice. So, okay. So my number 3 is, speaking of stone aging something, my number 3 is a game you already mentioned as a game you've played lately, and it's Veiled Fate.
Okay.
So, right. So I remember when Robbie first talked about Veiled Fate, he hyped it up, but like he said, it's a hidden role game, but not a traditional hidden role game. And I'm not necessarily a hidden role deduction guy. Bang the Dice game is my favorite, which is funny because it's a player elimination, which is not me. It's hidden role, but because I've had so many good experiences, I've talked about it. I love Bang the Dice game. With the right crowd has always made Bang great. Veiled Fate is a gamery version of hidden role and kind of deduction, and we played it here. Robbie taught it, and me, Elizabeth, him, and Nate played. And at the end of it, again, Robbie's already hyped this. He loves this. I'm like, it's all right. I'm not smart enough to methodically tell him why it was the wrong game, like the way he did with me on Stone Age. But like, I've never been hyped on it. And so fast forward to MCO, we're working together at a disc golf tournament, and we play it with the other Foundation guys. And it probably a lot of our listeners will know who the Foundation crew. If you're not, they're loud and fun, and they like to have fun together, which is a great crowd for this kind of deduction game. Not a heads down, be quiet deduction game, a very talkative deduction game. My best experience ever with the Bang the Dice game was essentially with this same crowd. Robbie wasn't there, but the same crowd, right? So that kind of crowd was there, and we played Veiled Fate. I don't think I've even said that yet, but Veiled Fate is the game we're talking about. And in Veiled Fate, we referenced earlier, essentially it's Robbie's the one he talked about was 5-player, you're all individuals, but once you hit 6 or more, you're teams. Which is why teams change the dynamic. The game went well. Everybody enjoyed it. But and me and Hunter won. It's always good when you win the game. It's easy to start liking the game. But I was like 50-50 on want to play the game. But I knew Robbie wanted to. And I knew that this crowd's a good crowd for that game, even though it's not my kind of game. But after playing that game, the next day, we kept talking about it at the booth. Like, we're vending there. And like I said, even when you weren't there, we were still talking about the game. So you talk about a good experience is when you continue to talk about the game, whether it's a purple team is strong there. Purple team was weak there. Like when you have your bits, that will always be even you shared the photo of the upgraded bits, and Hunter even had a joke about the purple team. But when it lives that way, and we even talked about how we would have done differently. Maybe I should have done this. Well, why 6-player teams? Why don't we do 6-player individuals next time? Oh yeah, next time we play that. So, and they even said, like, when Robbie's in Lynchburg, we got to play that again. Like Brody said that, right? So when you have an experience that at the moment may not have felt that may not have felt like, oh, it was great, but the next day we're all talking about it. I'm like, okay, that really was, in the moment I realized how good it was, but it stayed on people's minds. So that's always a good thing. The Bang the Dice game. To this day, I talk about that, and I can still remember everything about that night. This Veiled Fate from 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I remember as well. I remember in the game time, but then also the next morning, us continuing to talk about that game and how it's on our minds and how we'd play different. And the next time we do it, we're going to do this. That's always a good thing. It's like, well, if I ever play it, I'll do this. It was like, no, the next time I play this, it was almost like defined, like whether we play it or not, life will get in the way and life will figure that out. But it was already in their mind, well, we're going to play this again and we're going to do it this way next time. So Veiled Fate is my number 3.
That's awesome. I really like, I haven't gotten a chance to hang out with the guys obviously since then. So that's really cool to hear that, like, just positive experience around for everyone on it, which was sick. And I do think that 6-player, everyone playing individually would be chaos. So would love to see that
for sure. It's Veiled Fate is playing it more, like I've said this before. There are some games I love at the beginning. The more I play, the less I like it. This is my second time with Veiled Fate, but now that I played a second time, and even in retrospect, I'm like, it's a game I'll always happily play. It's not one I would ever buy, not in a bad way, just because I have, again, if I had like 40 games, maybe I'd buy it, but I have way too many games as it is. I got to stop buying games, and I've done pretty good. But it's a game that if someone says, hey, let's play Veiled Fate, I'm like, oh yeah, that other play of it, with the right crowd as well, right? Not that Nate and Elizabeth weren't right, but that crowd helped to drive that as well, because the Foundation crew with Robbie and Brody there, I'm along for the ride at that point, right? I'm not really ejecting anything, and I'm just like a fly on the wall having fun as that car goes down the road. So again, the crowd helps with those kinds of games. So my number 2, another game, it's actually, 2 from the same publisher. Another game from Druid City Games, Wonderland's War. Wonderland's War, because the biggest reason why it's on there is that from the beginning, we're all ready. We looked at it. Robbie's like, I'm going to win this game. Before we've taken a turn, he's like, guys, I'm going to win this game. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to win this game. And we're like, okay, Big Tucker, we'll see how that goes. And guess who won the game? Robbie himself. So among many things, the game was very long. It is even a long game because we hadn't played in a while. We had to learn the rules. It took like an hour to learn the rules. Wonderland's War, love the game. Even if you know it, it's just a little too long of a game. I don't even know how to shorten it. I truly don't even know how to shorten it. But everything in that game, I love. Like going around the table and getting these cards, do these things, doing the individual battles, all those things I love. The art's amazing. The upgraded bits, some of the best in the game. It's just a little too long is the downside about the game, but I love Wonderland's War. But I'll always remember you're sitting right here, I'm right there, and you're like, I'm going to win this game. I remember you sitting back going, okay, guys, I'm going to win this game, or something like that. And then you won the game. So Wonderland's War, my number 2.
It is. So outside of the board game community, I coach for a living inside of disc golf for our listeners who don't know me through that context. And there are times I describe it where you're watching form and you're trying to help people improve. And to my eyes, it's like I see in colors, and there's just bright red on certain spots where it's like, oh, we just fixed that and everything's going to flow. Everything's going to flow. And for some reason, I sat down with that game of Wonderland's War and I looked at the character and knew nothing about what any of the characters do. I know that I picked mine first, and I was like, I want to be the Mad Hatter. Didn't know anything about it, so I picked it, looked down, started looking, and it was like seeing in color. And it was like, oh yeah, if I just do this, this, and this, I don't know how anyone stops me. Like, I think I'm actually just going to go insane. All right, cool. Yeah. And it was the first time that I've ever been that confident to also say it in front of that good of a group of board gamers. Yeah. And Elizabeth almost got me. So it was fun. So my number 2, because I think that our number 1s are going to be the same, but my number 2 is Wingspan. And so it's specifically the first ever game that we played a Wingspan. We knew Jason loved it, and he was like, Robbie, I think you're going to really love it. He knew Brad was going to love it. And so it was Brad, Kimberly, me, Elizabeth, and Jason. The 5 of us playing. We're all down there. We're learning it. And that's where Tuck Game Strong became a thing, because I was fascinated. Once again, find a strategy, lean into it. And I was like, I'm going to do tucking. That sounds good. And my opening hand allowed me to do it. But the card that I will never forget and it is so funny because I'm not a birder, but I've played enough Wingspan that I know a lot of bird names. But the one that I'll never forget is the Eurasian Nutcracker, because I put this card down in my engine and I just start going insane with this card. And Jason's looking at me, and like, it's one that we can just tell no one's going to be close to me before the game's over. Like, this wasn't even like Wonderland's War of, okay, he's kind of confident. It was, my engine was cooking and everyone's just like, oh my gosh, he's getting like 7-8 points a turn. How do we stop this? Like, we just can't. No one's going to be close. And then we get to like the second or third round before the game ends. And Jason's so like just confused at how this broken of a card exists in the game that he actively looks it up while we're playing. And we realize no one's caught it, myself included. I'm not trying to maliciously cheat, but I have misread the card. And instead of from the supply, it says from your supply. I did not have near the amount of supply of grain that I was supposed to have, that I was just shedding all over my board. And I mean, it had to be 15 or 20 points that I got from this card. And we got to the end and we were like, well, we just don't really know how to calculate it backwards. So we're just going to put an asterisk on this. And that, let's put an asterisk on this, has literally come up in every single trip that I've had to the Collins house, because it's like the moment that something's a little off, we're like, it's fine, we'll just put an asterisk on it. We'll just put an asterisk on it. And it all came down to the Eurasian Nutcracker. Brad and I both walked away from Wingspan loving it, being Wingspan lifers. But Eurasian Nutcracker.
What's funny is, like, I'll tell you, just for the fun of it, so in the game, so BG stats, between second place and fifth place is 11 points. Between first place and second place is 26 points. So there you go. Like, that's very much an asterisk in there. So
it was tough. It was tough out there. So my number one is the crew.
This is it's a no-brainer. To me, it's a no-brainer.
I would have assumed similarly. On the other side, we look forward to the crew every single time. We played through the crew, and there was two highlight moments for me. One was when we could not beat the final mission of the first game. When we played all the way through it, we knew, all right, I don't care if we have to dedicate a whole night to this. We're finishing the crew on this trip. So we do that, and we cannot beat that final mission. So much so that we stop for the evening, and I'm at work with the Foundation guys the next day, actively Googling, like, how are you supposed to beat this mission? And that's when we realize we have beaten 49 missions playing on hard mode. Like, we weren't even using the actual rules of the game. We had just brought trick taking in and say, you can't break like, you can't lead with Trump until Trump plays or it breaks. Who knew how difficult that would make it? And so what did we do? We were like, well, we're still going to try to beat it on hard mode without we've already been this far. So that one stands out to me. But I don't remember if it was last trip or the trip before. But the best crew memory I have is when Elizabeth predicts. Oh, man. Like, I don't know if, like, it is the loudest we have ever been probably playing a game, the three of us. So much so that Hannah and Will were downstairs and they're like, what happened? Because we are almost screaming because we're so hyped up in this moment. Painting the picture for you guys, you get these challenges that you have to accomplish in the new version. So one of the challenges is one player has to privately select how many tricks they're going to take. And then we have two more challenges, which were like Jason couldn't win with two colors, I think it was. And then I had to win like the first like 3 or 4 hands or something like that. So I knew I had to win a certain amount. And we also had to make sure that Jason could throw all of these certain colors. But also Elizabeth had to win X amount of suits. And we had no clue how many it was. So Jason, in classic trick taking, is just sloughing off, doing his thing. He's crushing it. He's doing his part. I win these first few tricks. I'm feeling great. And then I remember looking in this moment of like, I can win more. I know I can win more.
Yeah.
But how many did Elizabeth say? And she's giving us, guys, no clues on how many, like, if we're close. She is playing it so close to the chest. And, like, we're like, you can table talk this if you want, Elizabeth. Like, let us know. Like, are we good? Are we not? Whatever you do, I'm good. Like, here we go. And so I remember ending up, like, looking at a trick and being like, should I take it? Should I not? And I don't remember what the result was, but we make this decision, and I'm like, I just hope. And then we get to the end. Elizabeth counts how many she has, and we're like, did we do it? Waiting on bated breath. And Elizabeth just so casually flips over the card, and it says 7, which is how many she had. It's the top moment of my board gaming career.
Right.
Like, it was so epic.
It was crazy. It's and even Robbie described it right, but you cannot realize how stressful that is, especially with how many games of the crew we've played, and because I had to at least one or two times, because I had to win a couple of tricks just to kind of balance it out, and I'm the same way. Well, I could win this. I'm gonna throw it out there and hope that it's gonna work out for us. And Elizabeth's dead face. Like, she's a hardcore gamer. She doesn't like even bending the rules to try to win. And so she was like stone faced. She wasn't gonna tell us anything. And then it was a Post-it note she had folded up, and she just kind of threw it out there, and you open it up, and it was 7, I think, was how many she had to win. And it was wild. And that was the last one we played. We even said this was going to be the last one of the night, no matter what. And then we pulled it off. So that's it. It's still crazy. Like, I told John about that when because it was the last time you came that we did that. And so when I was down for the takeover, I played with John. I told him about that. I was like, it'll forever go on. I mean, we've had a lot of, so many in the crew where we had to do that, where we fly through and then we get stuck on a trick for like 30 times and then get it on the very last one. Like, it's the last one, no matter what is it. And when we close out the night, that one will always be it. And yeah, when we did this list, to me, it was a no-brainer. There's nothing else would come close to being that moment with it, because it was tough. Every time we talk about the crew, it's tough, because I want to play all these other games with Robbie, but me and Elizabeth have so much fun playing the crew. I'm like, maybe we'll just play the crew tonight. And if we're really tired or whatever, because we don't got to think about me teaching a game or learning a game. It's like, we know how to play the crew. We can just kind of do that and have fun for an hour or two. So Great choice. Number 1, the only perfect crossover. We didn't have any crossovers.
Yeah, I don't think, like,
we didn't have, other than our honorable mentions crossed over.
Got flipped. Yeah,
we didn't have any crossovers at all. So that's cool. That's good. We got to talk about a bunch of different games. So cool.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the walk down nostalgia road with us. I love Team Collins. It is truly such a highlight being able to experience it all. And my hope for you guys listening is that you find someone in your life that you can play games with, that when you try to look at a list and try to come up with the top 10 favorite moments, you actually have to put some brain power into it, because there's just so many good ones. And like, yeah, there's 20 listed right here, or 19 listed right here. Yep. That, like, there's two sides of the coin of it. And it's like, yeah, I totally get it. And even, like, yeah, it just is so fun. If this episode does terrible, I don't care, because it was so fun walking down this memory road with you, Jason. So Any final thoughts as we close things out?
No, man, it was fun. I'd been thinking about this one for a while, a version of this for a while, for sure. Because people do top 10 new to me games. Like, well, that's not a bad one, but then we kind of did our own spin on top 10 games we played together. So it's always fun to think back through, because I even told Elizabeth, I have a terrible memory, but Robbie's going to have some great stories, and I'm going to have fun tonight, reminiscing and remembering those things, because I don't remember them that well. When you bring them up, it'll come back, but I just don't have that recall. And so I had a great time talking about it.
No, this might be the one episode of this podcast that Elizabeth goes back and listen to.
Yeah,
that's probably it. So
it'll be a good time,
because Elizabeth is there for pretty much all of them.
Everyone but Veiled Fate. The Veiled Fate, even though she's played Veiled Fate, the specific one was the one we did at MCO. Yeah. So beyond that, every other one of those, she was there for. True.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, guys, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. You have an amazing next 2 weeks, and we'll see you again for episode 41.
Yep. See ya.